Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, all y'all. This is red.olaughlin on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, and we're on the Wise Ones. A special feature this week, we happen to have two back-to-back Wise Ones shows. Today's show is with Alecia. Alecia I've known for a number of years, and before the pandemic hit, we would occasionally bump into each other at networking events. And Alecia, please join us. She's best known, at least here in the local area, for her expertise in social media, but I don't want to jump into that one right now because I want to congratulate her on something that I find to be amazing, extremely hard. I was a chemistry major. I took a lot of classes in that, but I would walk out of the university toward the parking lot and I'd have to go by the music places where they have the individual cubicles where people play, whatever music they were doing. And they were always there hours after I left. I'd come in the morning, there'd be people there in the morning. That's a lot of time and effort, not to mention that you have to literally learn a new language with that. But you are not only got a degree in it, one of your other businesses besides social media is in music and voice. So let's hear a little bit about your background in music, voice, and you've told me before, but I'd like to have the audience know a little bit about you.
Sure. I got started when I was like 8 years old. I was in the mall, and my parents would always, take us out shopping. And there was a store out there with tons of pianos, and we were like, I want to do that. And there were always somebody playing out there and encouraging. And you don't see many piano stores in the mall anymore. But, the malls are almost dying away since the COVID. And that's what inspired me going, I want to do that. And my parents gave me an upright piano at the time and sat me down like, you better be serious. I'm practicing. And I was like, sure, I'm going to practice. And he's like, you can even teach me when you get good enough. I never did. So I ended up by the time I was in high school, my piano teacher said, you should do pedagogy. I was like, what is that? And I got started in teaching piano from college. So I got my degree from Western Kentucky University and a long time ago. And been teaching piano ever since. So 20 some odd years, 25 years almost, or something like that. I've been teaching piano.
But it's a passion of yours, and you're helping other people learn. It's interesting.
Yes.
My brother-in-law just passed away about a year ago. And he had been a music writer for years and years and years, played the piano, played the guitar. And he decided very late in life, he's 70 years old, he had to learn how to play the piano in order to enhance his ability to do the, whatever that keyboard.
His finger dexterity and
just so many things. And he was always commenting about the fact that
mindfulness.
He had to get the left hand, and and a major learning curve for him, but he did learn it, and he was able to improve his ability to sing and everything else and what he offered. So I'm in awe of people who could just do that naturally. But anyway, but that's one of your passions, and that's what you help people do sometimes, right?
Yes, I have a local studio here. I only teach in person, and I have 9 keyboards now and teaching about 20, 25 students.
And you also do choral, singing, vocal?
Yes, for students. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you improve somebody's voice?
It's very interesting. a lot of people don't really understand how much voice you do to improve your voice, thinking, oh, it's just in karaoke or you have different goals. And so I was taking this little 7-year-old girl and trying to figure out, you have your favorite song. Now, do you think you've really improved from little tips that I've given you, things that we've had to do in lessons that your voice has improved? She's like, oh yeah. So most of it is coming on listening. The more you improve your listening skills, the better, your singing and all your other abilities will improve. So you're almost having to teach, how do you listen in order to know how to get improving different things. So I give you lots of different tips and different ways to sing it and figure out how am I improving, those little things that go a long ways.
Do you work more with kids or adults or what?
Most of the prospects come to me are the kids. I would love to teach more adults. Seems like they're hit and miss sometimes because people have little passions, and time is a very factor on that. So you're like, how serious are they on accomplishing the goals? How long does it really take? Am I going to stick with this? So that's why I have more consistency with the kids. They just soak it up those a lot faster and than adults. And you have to be really patient and be serious in order to accomplish that new skill. Like you said, that you said your as an uncle or cousin that you said that was experiencing that later in life and was like, he's determined and he saw some improvement with that.
So it's more than do re mi.
Totally. That's just the warm up, right? Yes.
So do you have kept that going since college a few years ago? And then, a few years ago. But here in the last dozen or so years, you've been getting into lead generation and social media. It seems like you're expanding much more so than that. So how did you get into the networking, social media, all that kind of industry?
Right. We go in different parts of our lives. And the crash of 2008, I was living in Georgia, and there was really not many piano students because they usually just come to either the music teacher or the music store. I could find, teachers. They could find, I could find students easier that way. And then I was like, I got to get another skill. I only have a handful and not a full studio that I was used to. That I was, getting to 20 some students and I only had 5. I was like, something has to happen. So I learned to get online and figured out affiliate marketing, network marketing, how to do different stores. I did a blog, then different marketing channels. I learned from Webmasters International. They had a marketing system called Carbon Copy Pro back in the day, and found some leaders in there that taught me article writing, blog writing, and just learned everything I could. And people started noticing why I was so successful, or like, you're doing some stuff. I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm just following some of the leaders that were teaching me that the stuff, like being a good student, right? And I was ready there, and found the leaders in there. Some people were noticing that, started giving me a referral from other clients. I found one in New York, which is a chiropractor, and started doing her blog, website, her Facebook at that time. Facebook just converted, and Twitter, and did a paid ad on there, learning some paid advertising, and did her email list. Everybody that got subscribed to her email list pretty much became a client or patient of hers. And that was pretty good success rate to see that turnover, and from her paid ad getting such good recognition, good testimonials on it, and then started getting more clients from there. And it took me a little while to realize I really wanted to help the local clients. And it didn't really matter what niche, because I said I've helped a chiropractor, I'd helped different service industries, and that's where I wanted to kind of stay in my lane. And this last year, my business doubled, being in a BNI network, because there's more home industries in there, home services that I can help. And so I stick with my lane and know I really can help those local business industries and make a difference in the local community, and love to help those people.
So during the pandemic, you probably didn't have much opportunity for your music because that's kind of a one-on-one situation in a small room. But network marketing kind of went from in person that you and I used to be involved in a lot of those different things to more of a Zoom or StreamYard or Google Meet or whatever out there. And so how has the pandemic affected your businesses?
It really hasn't. It's really grown. I noticed a lot of things in life in general and the world has changed and made a lot of things more easier for people. So more people would be used to having online lessons and did a third of those. And then just realizing once we're back in person, I really wanted to hone on that. So I took advantage and going all out. But I can see myself transitioning back to online if I wanted to, with piano if I needed to. But I had so many things going in different directions that I had to stick with one and really wanted to stay focused and one to excel in that one. Just like a lot of people get expertise in social media going, I'm really good at Facebook. And then they just stick with, I'm good at with Facebook stuff. And that's kind of how I did with my ads as well. Going, I just do Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm not going to do your Google or LinkedIn or anything else. I just want to stick with Facebook and Instagram ads. And then your landscape of organic automation that I do with all the other platforms to help make sure you're posted and everything looks congruent. I can see the overall landscape a lot easier with that. So kind of honed down, I guess, the pandemic a little bit with my expertise and making sure I stay focused in my lane and helping the right people.
Well, I know another focus in your life because I see it in a lot of the pictures that are posted is your daughter. I know when I met her, she was younger, but she has matured out quite a bit here during the pandemic and afterwards. So that is another, at least from my perspective, another passion in your life, and there's a lot of focus going there. So what is she up to nowadays?
Totally. She is 16 and busy. She loves to swim and she's really good in art. And we're trying to get her into learning some NFTs to be able to start the marketing space. So be looking out for her store coming soon. She's needing a lot of support and guidance in that crazy world.
Well, I have an appreciation for that because my granddaughter, I think, just turned 18, and she's been in dance forever. And so we've had a chance to go through those teenage years here again. And probably one of the biggest things I mentioned to Dr. Jacalyn the other day, we just celebrated our 55th wedding anniversary. And one of the presents that we got was the fact that we found out we're going to be great grandparents in February.
Congrats.
So we have one more opportunity to go through those teenage years. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much. So, but getting back into Facebook seems to be one of your strong points. Is that true?
Yes.
What for a person who owns their own business, single person, how would they, I'm not going to say maximize, but how would they begin to use Facebook in order to have it improve their business credibility, their business visibility, and maybe even their sales? How would you go about approaching somebody with their own business, single person, entrepreneur, may or may not be working it full time, but wants to work it full time? How does Facebook help?
Sure, there's a lot of approaches. People can don't realize that you create a relationship with people and you got to start somewhere, right? So you got to announce that you're doing it, start your business page. And then as what does your audience want and what are your offers? So a lot of people can build that branding audience ongoing and create that relationship, or you can just do quick stuff with some paid advertising on your business page. So there's a lot of ways you can do that, leveraging groups. So it kind of depends. I look at the audience, look at some assets that you build, and what you want to do with it. So I always navigate a lot of them. So for example, one person just like, hey, I have an event. I would like to just market to that. I have, maybe a cruise or something going on. How do I get people on that or something like that? And you're a singlepreneur and you've got a couple businesses going on. So I try to look at all the assets. What email list do we have? Do we already have some people signed up? What are people in the industries to understand the audience? Where are they hanging out on Facebook? to understand, is it really a paid route? Do you want to create a relationship with them personally, or do they need to be in a group? What kind of groups would that audience be? And then we navigate different actions to, put into that to grow the audience, to get some actions from it. So you're got to reach them, get them some branding, post in there in that groups to get that going, and then invite, or get the lead generation. And after you've started, they start to get to know you. What kind of call to action? Say, hey, join my group, or you need your email to learn more about it. Whatever type of actions. Of course, all those will include pictures and videos, and you're going to change it up with what you're going to say on how you're building that relationship with them. So it's not like they're searching for you on Google. Think of it more of a relationship building process that you're going to be working with. And so there's a different push and pull that you have to work with when you're working with people on Facebook to make positive and faster conversions and relationships that you want to build. And link it of an asset. If you build it for this, how can you use that asset to help other people, or how can you use it in the future? So there's always something you want to grow and learn from all the actions and things that you do out there on Facebook.
Okay, you jumped right at the very beginning of that answer into on your author page or business page, I think is what you called it. So
Right.
a person has a Facebook personal page. If they're a business, they should have a business page.
Correct.
And what do you publish on each one? Is it only personal stuff on the personal page? Is it only business stuff on the business page? How do you tell your clients what's appropriate on what and how often and those kinds of things?
It kind of depends on their audience. And so if it's an audience they don't really want to create a relationship with, like it's the direct people, do it on your business page. If it's somewhat of a referral audience that, hey, they're going to be friends with you, they want to network with you, but they're not going to directly pay, for your service or, get your, whatever you offer, then you need to talk to them as a marketing piece for you, how they can help their friends and be that networking type of relationship. And so that's how you can really clarify different audiences and where you talk to them. Business page directly, friends, networking. Do you know anybody that fits this, that you want to help? Refer them, tag a friend if you can think of this. And then maybe they might want to be in your group, and that's more intimate. And you have more questions. They want to help and spur problem solutions out there inside of a group and stuff. There's tons of niche groups and stuff to join that have that more conversation feel or shout out feel or business networking. There's a lot of aspects to that. So clarify your audience and talk to them in the right way.
You had one little takeaway in there that I think is super important, because when people go to network, a lot of people think that they're there to meet other people and to sell their service or products to the people in that they're meeting. When in reality, networking by definition means that you're not selling to that audience, but you're making them aware of what value you have, so that the people they know can be told that, hey, Alecia does this stuff over here on Instagram, and it's really, they may buy from you, but that's probably not the case. That may happen once or twice because there may be just a need right that minute. But most of the time when people are networking, at least the new people, they don't seem to realize that they're there to get to other people's networks, not to the network that they're right in front of right now. Is that a fair way of stating networking?
Oh, yes. So that's what I said. You're teaching them to help share your expertise and help them learn how to market you, right? And so that's the conversation you need to have, or the piece of what you're going to post about to help that relationship grow stronger.
I was at a recent event in downtown, not quite downtown Houston, but most everything was done with the use of the phone. They would do a LinkedIn link, and then you would have their LinkedIn page, and they would have your LinkedIn page. And then when I'm getting ready to leave, I realize I have all these pages, but I don't have any timeline of who I just met. Typically on the back of a business card, I would write, the event, the date, and if there's anything specific, I would have some record of that. But in the LinkedIn networking event that I went to, it became obvious about an hour into it, who was that I talked to 3 times ago? And I said, okay, fine. The next person I'm talking to, I'm going to send them a specific post thanking them. And if there was something in there specific that I would write on the back of a card, I could at least put that in there and I would know. But it would have the date and the time and the person I contacted. I could go back through my message list and find that. But that wasn't something that was explained to me. Yeah, just hold up your phone next to this other guy's phone. Boom, your information is going to transfer. You'll have all that information. Except how, it wasn't obvious that you have to go back and collect this information somehow. The technology's there; it's way ahead of where I'm at. But I managed to, I could just see getting home. Boy, I met 15 people today, but I have no idea who they are because there was no timestamp on that. It was just another person, another friend that, or whatever the
yeah, you started that connection.
connection.
Yeah, I've had to always, my business cards used to be directly a Facebook message or a directly like LinkedIn message to say, hey, this is where we connected. Let's keep our conversation growing. It was glad to meet you at this event. And let's schedule a one-on-one this next week, or, whatever you're remembering in the future. Hey, let's just remember that we met each other here so we can stay in touch. So you have that timestamp that you said, those notes that you remember, we connected and I remember your name.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah, the networking is a big deal if you're growing your business, whether it's a local business or even a international business, because those connections, whether I'm on a Zoom networking meeting and I'm talking to people in other parts of the country or even out of the country, you're establishing your credibility, you're establishing your need. In other words, what kind of client, what kind of service, what kind of product are you looking for? There's a lot of things in there. Is that some of the things that you teach with regard to clients that you take on?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, why do people need to connect with you? And what are some questions that they're going to ask? And you get those questions over and over. Let's keep posting those type of things. So people are always educated on their service or, who they are. Just had another client come to me going, we're getting these questions all the time. We want to know more about us. They trust more about who we are, and then they'll be more comfortable to use our service when the time is needed.
It's interesting. Most of the questions are, who are you? Where you live? What business are you? I generally, after I get to meet somebody, one of the first questions that I do is, Alecia, what do you do for fun? Yeah. Because it's a question that nobody ever asks, but it's a question that it's a personal one and a lot of times, well, I just do my business. No, I said, what do you do for fun when you're not doing your business? And some people literally don't have fun in their lives. It's sad, but they're out there 100% just doing whatever they're doing, and they don't take a deep breath. They don't smell the roses. But if you want to get to know somebody, in fact, on this show, it's interesting. We had one lawyer and one project manager, and one of their fun things was Argentinian ballroom dancing. And these shows were literally about 4 or 5 shows apart. And one of them actually opened up an Argentinian ballroom dancing studio in Houston.
Wow.
And so it's those little things that we don't even know about people. I would never have expected either of these two people to be involved in that kind of thing. But we have a lot of things we do for fun. And sometimes those are bigger openers for learning about people and being able to help them than any other thing. Because if it's just business, well, we know too many people in those businesses. But if this other person has this, they love to, let's say they work with hospice people, on a voluntary basis. Well, that's kind of a big deal. That's a real emotional issues on that. There's a lot of things there that sometimes you can connect with, sometimes you can't, but it gives you a better understanding of who those other people are. Do you have any special networking questions you like to use?
Goodness. Yeah, it takes some really getting to know really who they like to connect or what they do, especially in certain industries, like you said, that are so, oh, Facebook's calling them crazy, that, that really lets them connect to an audience, especially in those, I say, kind of sort of saturated audiences, or industries like realtor, or insurance. And those really need to know what type of people they connect with. And I say pick one, like, hey, if you like to go to restaurants, connect with all the people that are the foodies and really talk about the best restaurants in the area. Or those, if you're really like to connect with those that are the engineers, make sure you talk their language. Where do those engineers like to do? Where are they hanging out? So you know how to connect with them. And that's where it's just like, pick something that you are having a hobby with. You like to go to the Astros game, like find the people that are going to the Astros game to connect with, that will also trust you, relate to your industries. So I feel like I can take competitive audiences, because people are branded in different ways. They're going to connect with different types of people. So I can take, like two insurance in the same area, because they're going to have different people that they connect with or they relate to, because of who they are. I share their lifestyle or what they represent out there differently. And that's how people are connected or branded to them. And so those are those networking questions that I ask, like, who do you love? Like, what do you love to do? So I know the right people to connect you with. Whether are those hobbies that, do you like biking? Or and I'll just pick out some popular ones to kind of start with to get the ball rolling. If they don't have one, I would have to choose one for you. Did I lose you? I can't hear you. Let me see what happened.
I have some background noise going on, so I try to mute myself while you're talking.
Oh,
And
okay.
sometimes I forget anyway, sorry about that. Sometimes I meet people networking and you ask a question, well, who's a good client for you? And they'll say, anybody. And when you're working with somebody, you have to know who your audience is, because that's really where your focus should be. And so I'll usually ask the question. He says, on the way here, I saw 3 people homeless under the overpass. Are they the kind of people you're looking for also? And they say, oh no. So it kind of brings them back into reality, that they haven't really truly defined. When I want to talk to a group, I want women 45 to 65, and there's a reason for it, for my particular demographic of what I want to talk to. But I don't think a lot of people really identify a demographic well. Is that something you help potential clients with?
Yeah, it's great to put an avatar together. Like, what is their age? What do they like to hang out? What are the books they read? Who are the authors that they like to follow? What are the movies that they watch? Are they doing any magazines like nowadays? Or what kind of stuff for fun they like to do? And so the more detail you can put, like this avatar person of who you're looking for, the more related we can get to a type of profile. So if you're really looking to be a social media, guru or expert or management, you have to put yourself as different avatars of different things. And so you can see what's attracting. Like, this is my avatar, and you create this little profile, and then you can see the ads that are attracting to that profile. And then like look at the competitor ads and stuff like that. So you got to think backwards sometimes to really navigate that the right way.
Well, you caught a very particular topic there, one that I introduce my new authors to when I'm getting ready to publish their books, is who's your competition? Where are
Right.
they? What kind of products? I go through the whole thing. We go down and we look at everything. So how do you help people? If it's a dog grooming industry, is you just look in the yellow pages and find out who's there, or you do a Google search if it's a local business and find out who their competitors are, and then see if you can find them on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. Do you help them with the competitor analysis?
Yeah, once we get in a good avatar of who their audience is, I do ask them if they've done any competitor research. there's several sites that will do it for you too, because you need to look Google versus the ads versus each platform, their hashtags, how popular they are, the location. Are they directly in your location, or are they indirect kind of marketing? They're out of your location that, hey, I like what they're doing. I would like to model them, and I can do that in my area and be successful, kind of thing. So there's always lots of direct and indirect type of competitor analysis when you're looking at that on each platform, hashtags, links, putting all that together, blogs and websites and all those type of avatars. So if you have a really good competitor analysis with your business, it's always changing. I would say you need to update it quarterly almost sometimes in order to stay on top of how your insights of how people do things and what they bring unique to the marketplace, right? And you want to be on top of how people are standing themselves out and what makes them stand out, so you can learn more yourself of how you can get better of who you are and how you want to stand out with that market.
Timing is one of those things, whether it's an email that you're sending to somebody or it's a post on Facebook or LinkedIn. What do you tell people on timing with regard to their audiences? Because some people want to get it first thing in the morning when people turn on their equipment. Other times they get home, they have a chance to relax, or they check their emails or their social media at noontime. What do you recommend on timing, or does that also depend on the nature of the business and the audience?
Yeah, it's how you're being consistent with that audience. I have a standard timing that I just do for all my basic local businesses. And it seems like if I consistently keep with this standard, people are going to see it, and the time that's needed the most. It's really strange. I'm like, we put it out there, we're consistent, and they see it. So as far as like time of day or how often, I always do the standard, and then we kind of feel on how the growth is happening. If it's too slow, then we probably need to do some more. I've done, more posts, or the frequency needs to be more often, or kind of slack it back if the audience is a little slow, or we've seen some of it pull back because you are posting too much. So there is a little bit of give and take, but it all depends on how the traffic flow is working with your audience because you got to know your audience. What do they want out there? How you're creating that relationship with them with different aspects that you're pushing and pulling and asking them in different features. So there's always a good flow that you need to keep with, but being consistent is key.
Blogging. You mentioned that you help people occasionally with blogs. That's something that I do a lot of. I was told a long time ago, always post a picture, a photograph with your blog. Just make that part of your everything you do. So it's one of the things I have done. How do you help people with blogging in general? And is that also a recommendation that you tell people? So you really should have a photo with every blog you post?
Yeah, I have a little devotional blog, and I like to put a little quote on there too on my blog. and any other blog, because it's going to be shared. And when it shares, you got to share that with that picture and stuff like that. So definitely a standard that's been aged on, forever. You need to have a unique stick picture out there. But it's also, a lot of people use it on Pinterest or wherever they're going to share it in the right way. So if there are people that are in the blogging industry, needs to share it 80% more than the time they spend on writing it, right? So you got to think about, where are you sharing it more often than when you're posting it? So a lot of people will just do here's my TikTok of it, or however you do a video of it too. I wrote a blog. I'm scrolling up and down on my computer, whatever. You can get it out there on lots of different ways. So doing live shows about it or talking about it and, commenting on others. Like I said, there's more ways to share because put a picture on it, at least to put on the blog post. So most of them are branded. They need to grow that content and share it out there more.
Well, I try to keep the photo generally aligned with whatever the content is, but sometimes you just don't want to. You want to have something that's a little different.
Standard
I want
template.
to. Somebody sees the photo and they go, "What's this about?" Even though the verbiage isn't there. But two things that I do want to ask you about specifically on blogs. One is when I publish a blog, I will go in for a headline analyzer and try to get something that's appealing to my audience, so that I put the headline in there, analyze it if it's 60%, 70%, whatever. Is that something that you help people with or make them aware of?
Oh, you got those headline generators. Like, why do
Yes.
you need me? But yeah, there's really good copyright experts that they are their own, headline generator out there. And you find those and learn more from like news stations or places that you like to get headlines from that are attractive to you. Or if you're subscribed to several email lists, their headlines you learn from. And so there are several copywriters that give you like a formula of, use number, use these type of wow words and stuff like that. Ask a question and change it up to like a good formula to create a good headline like that. So make sure you're always staying on top of those trends and what you like and what you're learning from others to make a better headline on that aspect. So I would say, just like in music, you need to listen more than you play. Same thing as a copywriter or being best headline writer. You need to look and watch other headlines in order to get better yourself, right? It's like practice and do what you teach, right?
Great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Last question before we begin to wrap things up. A lot of stuff is being done nowadays with Chat GPT, writing blogs, updating profiles on social media, just a myriad of things that can be done. Are you helping your clients understand what's appropriate for artificial intelligence and how it can help their businesses?
Depends on what their needs are. So in the background, they don't have to know that I use AI to create all their Facebook posts. I have one to come in with like, we need some questions to ask, in our Facebook group, what can we do? And I'd be like, okay, what are some topics? Let me research and do a little bit of Chat GPT or some AI research and see if they can come up with some good questions for us to kind of start the conversation with. And let's edit a little bit of those and get some things that are more concrete on paper that we can get some good topics on. So I'm surprised maybe you used your Chat GPT or AI for your headlines as well, because be like, I need a headline for YouTube. What's the best headline for this topic? And maybe come up with 3 different topics to give you the best one. And maybe you can mix a little bit of them. I mean, use the tool for your advantage to give you more options that you can customize and make it your own to make it better. So the more people that are using this tool wisely will come out better at the end with some good stuff.
Yes, I use it for subtitles, for chapter titles. I put the keywords in there. Same thing, it would be like hashtags, but yes, it generates a lot of good information. We're toward the end here. Tell people what services you offer, what value you bring to your clients, how they can get in touch with you, so that somebody who wants to know more about Alecia, they can find you.
Sure. I feel like I do a unique service with social media because I focus on the local services or those that need to be really great branding. So I go into a personal profile and I do all the automation. That takes way too much time for some people on social media. So I'm like the bot and I try to make it natural and organic as possible to customize for your audience. So I'm going into a personal profile and finding all of the groups that you need to be in. I join all the groups that you need to be in, like on Facebook or LinkedIn, and can find all the people in that group that you might want to be as friends. I can add them as friends, do the first messages, likes in the news feed, likes on certain groups, start first messages, all those things that take up more time, happy birthday messages if you needed, to grow your audience and to your business page. And then I manage Facebook and Instagram ads. to help you get better conversions. And like I said, I want to know those right audiences that's going to help you grow and optimize and to be the best bang for your buck that you're looking for to navigate social media. So it's amazing to see the assets that you build in just a short time using my services. And it's exciting to see all those connections that we build for you in that way. And you can find me at aleciastringer.com and see all the little actions that we do for social media to make that automation happen like magic for you.
Okay, for our audio audience that can't see the runner at the bottom of the screen, Alecia is ALECIA. That's ALECIA Stringer, STRINGER.com. And Alecia, I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you for taking some time. Really nice to catch back up with you. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and so it's a good homecoming today for me. So thank you very much.
Yes. And I really would like to talk to you about getting a book going for my dad.
Okay.
He started compact computers back in the day, and it would be nice to have like his commentary of the movie that came out with them and stuff like that. And I'm like, you should put this in a book. So let's continue the conversation and make it happen.
I will definitely follow up with you. So, thank you, Alecia. We'll catch you later on. Take care. This is red.olaughlin. Getting ready to sign off on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. This week's double whammy on the Wise Ones. And we'll be concluding with a sponsor. And I will catch you all next week. Regular, same time, same channel. The Wise Ones on USA Global TV and Radio Network. Bye, y'all.